Have you wondered how to get consistent characters and scenes using Leonardo AI or Midjourney or even tools like Design? Over the weekend, I was teaching someone how I would go about this particular process, and so in the rest of this video, we walk through it. I'm Happy Dave, let's get into it. Today we're looking at crafting a cohesive world, something a little bit like this. Today we'll use Leonardo AI, but really it's about crafting the prompts that will allow us to do both the scenes and the character development. Now, this is really a testing of ideas. I've done this sort of stuff before, but this is training and research for a team member so that they can use another product called Design to get really good graphics. So to kick us off, what I'll bring us over to is this little ChatGPT prompt that was started with. This is the idea that we're running with, crafting cohesive worlds, character and story image prompts. A little bit of backstory about where this is all coming from. So we've got some images that I did the other day, and it's based around a video that I'd like to do in the next week or so. Can you create 555 videos in 55 weeks on 5 different channels? What I want to do is create a story, and the story needs to have a character, maybe even more than one character, and it certainly needs to have a scenery sort of layout. So we're going to jump over to prompts and start from there. Okay, so the first thing I like to think about when I'm doing prompt engineering for storytelling is what is the philosophy of the world that the story is fitting within. So if you think of TV shows like The Smurfs or The Simpsons or South Park, they all have completely different philosophies. And the philosophy, funnily enough, impacts the layout and the visualization and the storytelling quite significantly. So as a quick example, we'll go with the Buddhist philosophy, the Christian religion, Catholicism, or maybe communism, and we might pick it from a Vietnam point of view. Like, what would the philosophies of them be? And so I guess Buddhism would be like living in the present life. Catholicism would lead me to think of gargoyles, angels, Jesus Christ, stuff like that. Vietnam communism would be a whole lot of reds and yellows, the sickle. So these little philosophies can lead to the visualization and the storytelling of the world. So we're going to start there. I'd been playing around with some different concepts, and I think the idea I wanted to go with was Raiders of the Lost Ark, right? Indiana Jones. What does he look like? And this is going to be the primary character. But if you look at this particular image that we're looking at here, this is kind of photorealistic, and that's not a style I want to work with. I want to go more into a caricature sort of look. The other thing that I'm interested in with this storytelling is that it's an spiral education story. So spiral learning can use this metaphor of the mountain, that you walk up a path, and as you're going up the path and you go around the mountain, on each iteration of the journey, you look out to the world and you see a different view. So since this is going to be about YouTube automation, what I want to do is talk about the different areas of learning, whether it be script writing, it can be the production quality that we're looking at here, it could be the analytics and post review, it can be the channel management, how do you upload it to YouTube, how do you repurpose it for LinkedIn. The metaphor that I'm working with being this mountain pathway, as that each time you walk around the mountain, you get the same view from a better perspective. So over here on the left might be titles, YouTube titles. There's something I was working on quite a bit 2 years ago. Now, as I've gone through this journey a few times and I'm looking at titles again on the left, I have a lot better perspective of what a YouTube title should be. So much so that even when I'm not trying, like here, I can just take an idea and with a very simple prompt, not even one that's designed for the problem, come up with something that'll get us started. So what I think we'll do is we'll break down the philosophy of the world. I want to talk about philosophies for a storytelling concept. I only want the idea of the philosophy to take up about 30 or 40 words. Some existing philosophies would be Buddhism, Catholicism, and communism. But the one I'm looking at is the sort of world and ideas that Indiana Jones from Raiders of the Lost Ark would have been living in. Can you tell me what that philosophy would be in 30 to 40 words? Okay, 20th century adventure, colonialism, skepticism versus faith, embraces pragmatic, however you say that, academic curiosity. Okay, cool. This sounds good. So now that I've got a tiny little bit of philosophy, and what I'm doing at the moment is I'm setting up the context within a chat window. If I wanted to go down a totally different idea, I could take this context with me to another window, but I won't. This is just a proof of concept today. What are the color schemes or motives and ideas that are predominant in the Indiana Jones series? And I'm expecting it'll be browns, right? So what do we got? Color schemes, earthy tones, browns, tans, muted greens dominate. Golden hues, deep reds, awesome. So what we've kind of got now, if we were doing image generation, is we've got a palette. So we could say, can you develop a simple palette that I can use in my image generation programs? And also, can you bring it into two different sentences, the motives and symbols, plus the ideas and themes? A quick intermission. If you're actually interested in learning more about prompt engineering or working one-on-one with me on AI workflows, then check out one of the links down below. Otherwise, let's keep going. So we've got some colors coming through. This may get picked up by any image generator that we're using. Who knows? We've got the symbols and motifs. This sort of stuff can weave into any prompts that we're going to generate. So that sounds like a good thing. So I've got individual sentences that can help me weave into a prompt. If I was using a prompt tool like the agent workflow builder that I use, these would just become variables that I can inject anywhere in any prompts. But for now, we're keeping everything all in a chat conversation. We got earthy tones for Indiana Jones. We got motives and symbols. We got ideas and themes. Now what I want to do is explore visual mediums. Going to use these motives, colors, ideas, and themes, but I need to come back to a style of art. The style of art I want might have more of a caricature or comic aspect to it. Give me 10 different styles. Just keep it to the high level headings. Don't give me any details. Make sure that they're all some sort of illustration, drawn, or comic sort of concept. The goal of this is that it's easy to reproduce, so it's a relatively simple style. Comic, golden age of comics, pulp, magazine, European. So I might just take a picture that I've got over here and paste it in. And I'll say describe as 1 to design styles, a mix between realism and stylization. Let's also bring in another set of styles that have these flat earthy tones, but also based on computer graphics from maybe the 90s or the 80s. So a little bit beyond the 8-bit characters, but not into the realm of photorealism that started to happen. What would you call this area of graphics? So 8-bit would be too low resolution for what we want, but after in the 90s, everything started becoming quite realistic, and that's not what I wanted to have. VGA, Monkey Island, Indiana Jones, Loom, 16-bit pixel. How would you merge a pulp adventure illustration style with, and maybe you can do 2 variations of it, the 16-bit pixel art and the VGA adventure game aesthetics? I'm trying to come up with a visual style, especially for the backgrounds. Bold silhouettes akin to Indiana Jones, but rendered in 16-bit. At this point, do I head over to Leonardo AI or do I test my ideas here in DALE? I think doing it here in DALE would be great. I want to test my ideas. So the first thing I want to have is just a scene of a mountain. It's one of those triangular shaped mountains. There is a path going up to the mountain, and the path starts to go around the mountain in a circular idea. And I would like you to give me 2 prompts, one for the 2 different types of designs that you've come up with. We're taking this particular design here and this particular design here, and we're only working on a background scene. We're not trying to a character yet, because I'm not sure how I want characters to fit in this. I've got an idea. I'm thinking more Dungeons and Dragons, where you have these different character types or archetypes that you might have, but we'll just work with these 2 for now. And we'll say create image 1. Now that'll do DALE version. I probably should have said 16:9 for the right eyes. Let's start the next one. Create image 2, and oh, that's no good. That's no good at all. This is good to do these tests like this, because now we've got this, almost looks like an 8-bit graphic to me. And let's see what the second one comes through as. Why? What's the policy restriction? Triangular mountains. Create image 2, but remove anything that might be a copyright name from the prompt. I think it might be the Lucas Arts might be the issue. There'd be a copyright on that. Oh, that's interesting. It's not quite what I want, but we'll run with it. Describe and let it run. And then we'll say, let's go back to the prompt that I wanted to create, but now use the style I've just provided you right now. Ignore the fact that there is a man in the image. It's more the background that you're interested in. I don't want this man. I love those flat colors going on. I love the tones. So what I want you to do is give me a well-defined styles in 2 separate code blocks. Keep in mind that we're only interested in the backgrounds, not the foreground imagery. Create 2 little short ideas that we can draw. The first is a mountain and a path walking up to the mountain. The second is a day in the life of a 30-year-old woman and her cat. A story about an alien and a man. So what I'm doing is just giving myself 3 simple story ideas that we can test. This will end up being 6 different prompts that we can then test. 2 different styles. We got our 3 different stories. Now I want you to bring together a bunch of ideas. The first is that I want the best practices for prompts to be incorporated whenever you're creating a prompt for me. Then what I want you to do is take the 3 story ideas that we've come up with, but give me a prompt from style 1 and a prompt from style 2. The final output should be 6 prompts in a code block. Can you also give me a brief summary, almost like a title, of what the 2 different styles are and what very simple rules for the prompt engineering is as well? Okay, so that last statement I said, the simple rules and the titles, is just memory joggers. I don't want to have to go back and read that information, so I kind of want to know what we've got. So here's our summary of what we're trying to do. I'm not so concerned with making it right today, just that it looks fairly accurate. We got our 2 different styles, so VGA and that. Great. And we've got our prompts coming through, because we'll test this. So we got horizontal, and we'll say create aspect 16:9, and we'll just copy that and we'll just paste it. And while that's happening, we'll just come over to here and we'll paste it as well. I'd like to see the differences between a ChatGPT DALE-3 versus the other. So each time we do it, we'll just take this information. Again, the agent workflow builder would make life easier if we had it set up for this. We'll just take that information and we'll kick off another one. So these are going to be the 2 same images done in 2 different styles. So this style number 1 and this is style number 2. So Now we got a new one running over here. It is very low resolution, so it's not quite, I don't think it's going to be exactly what I want to see. So I will take a lot of this offline to do the rest of it. But this is showing you how you can experiment, I guess, with different ideas. So we'll just run the next one, create image, aspect, 16:9. And we'll paste that in, and we can't press enter because it's still building another one, and we'll let that go. And lastly, we'll grab the next one, and that one we can kick off over here, and then we can go and review them while we're waiting for these ones to finish generating. That would have been the 6th image. I guess we're getting into our space invaders or our alien sort of concepts. So let's come back to the top. This is the very first idea, and this is almost exactly what I want to see. We got a low resolution style, which is relatively easy to regenerate. As soon as you get into detail, things can change from scene to scene. If you're using a tool like Design, they've got other capabilities to force this, but we're just doing prompt engineering today. And we've got this nice scene of the mountain that we're going to walk up. We can look at it from a few different angles. This is great. Let's look at it from the other format, the secondary format. This too is looking very smooth. This is a nicer one. This is great. Because one of the things I want to see is my characters walking down the path, and we haven't got to the character development, but we will. And then in the background, I might show a video of Mr. Beast or something like that. Like, there's different ideas that I'm trying to think of for this video as I develop it. And let's look at what DALE-3 came up for the same ideas. Here is your semi-realistic pulp fiction. That's nice. And we'll move to another one. Yeah, so we got that one, which is not nice. It's two 1980s graphics, I think. Then we've got this one, which is good. And then we've got this one, which is, again, looking like a game from the 80s. The second variation of it is feeling quite nice. One thing to notice is the muted tone colors. Now we got the space one as if it was a game from the 80s, and this one's more realistic. So it's the second prompt style that works the best over in DALE. Let's go and look at the cat. So this would have been the 8-bit graphics in the DALE-3. It's okay. We'll go to this variation, and it's just a lot smoother and cleaner. Definitely the second style that I want to use so far, and then we'll look at it one more time. It is starting to look a little bit more closer to the 90s in the graphics quality, but again, it's the wrong format for me. The last one, 3 arms is better than 2 apparently. Well, we are dealing with aliens, so let's come here. Very smooth, very smooth. So I think I'm getting close to a style I want. I think the next step we should just look at is character development. I want to come back to here. Pulp fiction adventure illustration. I'm going to settle on a specific style, and for me, this was the one I loved. Next step is just to at least consolidate some of the concepts. What is the philosophy we're going on? This is the area around the Indiana Jones world. What are the color palettes and motifs and whatever the third concept was that you were talking about right near the top of the conversation? And what is the style guidelines? Can you just give me one consistent document so I can see all of this, please? Didn't spell please right. I want to be careful in the future that my AI overlords know that I was polite. Okay, so what do we got? Pulp fiction with semi-realistic digital painting. I don't like that it went into canvas mode because that could cause me some grief as I try to continue this process. We've got our color palettes. This is good. Recurring motifs and symbols. This is excellent. Booby-trapped ruins, because as I take people on the journey of creating 555 videos in 55 weeks, there's a lot of traps, and there's a maps, there's a travel sequence, there's light and shadow, like the good, the bad, all that sort of stuff. So we've got our style guidelines, artistic approach, cool. Let's explore a new idea. Don't integrate it into the main document. What I want to do is start talking about the different characters, and there'll be a main character in all of this. Just so you know, his name is He looks similar to Indiana Jones. He is 50 years of age and he wears glasses. But we also need to find other characters that are in our story, and they're going to generally be various people from the YouTube and content creation background. So we're going to have researchers, video editors, channel managers, social media managers, and you can list 4 or 5 different other people going on with all of this. We're also going to have a few villains, but I don't know what the villains could be. But in the context of the storytelling, the villains are people that rob us of productivity. They rob us growth, money, all this sort of stuff. What I want you to do is come up with some character styles that are low resolution but still fit in with the general design of the scene. So when I generate images, I'll be generating both scene backgrounds and foreground characters. So the characters have to fit the background, but they need to be simple and repeatable as well. I think I put too many ideas into this part of the conversation, but just trying to get it done quickly. Okay, we're going main character, clothing, personality, role. Apparently I'm full and witty and chasing knowledge. Okay, cool. Supporting cast, content creation. Oh, look at this. Dr. Scriptwell. I love this. It's given us some terminology that might actually be useful in the storytelling as we go. Pixel Pete. In keeping with the main background scene, what are 4 different comic styles that you would suggest? Just keep it as high-level topics for now. So have we got villains? Yeah, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Since the background need to fit, here are some key characteristics. Tintan, no, I don't like that. Don't want golden age. Vintage adventure. Modern graphic. Can I get you to create the prompts? Keeping in mind the rules of prompts for Leonardo. Now, this is also another thing to pay attention to, is that I'm saying for Leonardo, but if you're using a different tool, it'll have different rules. So we use design a lot, so it would be good to have a rules list for that one as well. Again, if you're using prompt workflows where you can have different variables storing different information, it makes it really easy to weave this stuff in. So what we'll do is we'll just copy that and we'll create a 916. We'll paste that, and while that's happening, we'll come back over to here as well, and we'll make this vertical. That was okay. I'm just going to kick all of them off at once. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to do, this is number 2, and we're going to do create image 916 like that. And we're going to create image 916, paste that. What's the last one? It's right there. Well, they're looking good over on the left. Do this one and create image 916. To be honest, any of these could do. They're all really good. One of the things that we haven't considered is that we don't want the backgrounds. Let's just jump over to Canva for a second. Let's say you go and create a new design. Presentation will do. We'll come over to here and let's say we like, what do I like actually? His eyes are a bit shady. Go with that one. Copy the image and we'll come back to Canva. We'll paste it in. And what you can do is just extract the actual character. You click on it, you go to edit, you go to magic grab, and then you go and pick somewhere, or it'll do it automatically. Grab it, and then if we come, while that's doing that, let's jump back here and find ourselves a scene. Grab this image, we'll copy it, we'll pop in over here, paste it in. We can go and move him out. So we copy him, come back to there, and we make this set it as background image, just like that, and paste him. There he is. There's our character. Resize him to fit. There goes Happy Dave. Why can't I see magic moves? And animate. That's good. And what is it? Magic animate. Okay. I don't even know what that's going to do. I've never seen this particular capability. Oh, look at that. Cool. Yeah, that's all right. Look at that. Bob Shankle. But that's not what I really wanted to do. The main thing I was trying to do here, if we go to elements or text and we put on some text like this and say Dave's magic adventure, blah, 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 blah. And you could take that, move it on to the second one. That way, once you got your animations in place, and if we hit present, let's see what this does. So we're here. Here's Happy Dave, and what's he doing? He's going on a magic adventure. So this is some of the conceptual ideas that you could do to get it visualizing the way you want. But let's come back one more time to what we got out of DALE-3. This first one is really a great style that we could work with. The second one is a good style. The third one is not a good style, so we'll see what that looks like back in Leonardo in a second. And the fourth one is good, but I like the other two because especially that one because it's lower resolution. Anyway, this is what we can see. Oh, pretty cool. So this is great. I'm going to call that pretty much the end of it. What you want to be aware of is that I'm changing the nature of the channels so that I'm doing a lot of live streams like this and then repurposing them into main form content for efficiency. The goal is to get towards this 555 videos in 55 weeks across 5 different channels. And so there's a lot of repurposing going on and developing the craft. This is really just storytelling that we're talking about today. So to recap, we've just used a whole lot of prompt engineering and a few other different techniques to create these consistent scenes and characters. In the next video, I plan to put together the storyboard using OpenAI's deep research mode. So if you're interested in that, then please check out the video over here. Otherwise, like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.